and welcome to this week's Good Work Show. It's going to be a really, really good one.
Yeah, we are revisiting an organization that I think by now most people in our area have heard of. When we talk to them, gosh, it's been probably about 3 years now, if not longer. It was just getting off the ground. We were talking to their founder, and they were telling us about the stuff that they were about to embark upon. And now we get to see, where they've come. So it's the Harvard Diversity Project. You've seen the stories and the videos. I mean, I was scrolling through Instagram one day and Viola Davis had posted something about the students that go up to Harvard and compete in the summer debate program. But it's so much more than that. So we're excited to talk to them and revisit with them again today, to share not just the successes, but to also get a full scope of what the program is and what students can expect if they participate.
That's right. So Kellye Britton, who is the executive director, is going to spend some time with us telling us about the organization. She is going to update us on, because they've got now nominations are going to be open. So really, really soon. So if you know of a young person who could who is be interested in this program, who you think might be interested in it, you as a parent are interested in getting your kids in it, your niece, your nephew, your students, if you're an educator, you're going to want to tune in and listen to the next few minutes of this show. I promise you, it will not disappoint. But we are so proud to have them on and have them in our area to talk about the mission and how they are impacting the lives of young people all over. So you know what? I think we should just dive in.
Yeah, so here we go.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Work Show. It's a great day on the Good Work Show because we have an organization that probably now in the last couple of years you have all heard about, but you need to know the ins and outs of. It's a fantastic organization. And here to tell us all about it is the executive director, Kellye Britton. Welcome to the show, Kellye.
Thank you for having me, Lynn. I appreciate it. And I'm here to just shed some light, give some updates, and let the people know what's going on here in the city of Atlanta with the Harvard Diversity Project. So I appreciate the invite.
Yes, Harvard Diversity Project. We talked to you all, 3 years ago, and we got acquainted with the organization. But start from the beginning. So if there are folks who are listening or watching and they have not heard of you, they don't know, they've been under a rock, like tell them what, maybe they've been dealing and trying to just not watch things because of COVID. So they I don't know what's going on. So tell us about Harvard Diversity Project and your mission there.
Well, the Harvard Diversity Project is an Atlanta-based pipeline program. We're the only subsidiary program of Harvard College off of campus. So, of course, our headquarters is Harvard in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Our founder and CEO, Brandon P. Fleming, was recruited to teach there in the summers during Harvard College's international residency for high school students. So it's 2 weeks in the summer where young people from all around the world gather on campus. They are instructed by debate coaches from across the country, some of the top debaters from a number of different schools, from Stanford, from Loyola, from University of Chicago. A number of folks converge there on campus. They teach for 2 weeks the principles of public forum and policy debate. And at the end of the 2-week residency, so again, students are on campus living the college experience. At the end of those 2 weeks, they come together for a tournament. And I'm happy to say that the last 4 consecutive years, we have brought home the championship, the win from that international tournament. So we're super excited because that news didn't exist the last time that we spoke with you. And so it's been a whirlwind. And so here's the thing. When Brandon taught the first summer there, he realized there was a lack of representation of Black and Brown students on campus. Again, this is a high school program, right? And so, this is what sets young people up to be able to compete, to be very competitive with college admissions. These are the types of experiences that allow students to, gain some exposure, get some opportunity, network, and then be able to utilize that to forward and advance their academic careers. Noticing that there were not enough of us there, he went to our leadership and said, hey, We need to do something about that. And they were like, yeah, we do. What do you have in mind? And so from there, he said, you know what? Let me think about it. Give me 24 hours. In 24 hours, he came back and said that he was going to come back home to Atlanta during the year. And he was going to recruit students that he could then bring up to Harvard for that 2-week residency to participate and to compete. And so they were all for it. You know, leadership said, great, that's a great idea. However, you know, how are you going to make sure that these young people are able to compete, you know, who have never possibly had access or exposure to formal debate? He said, you know what? I'll teach them. Our first cohort, the class of 2018, was taught for 6 months, a survey of the humanities. That 6-month training allowed them to be prepared to be able to be on the level playing field with their colleagues on that campus. And they took home a win first year. Of course, folks were like, yeah, that was, you know, maybe a coincidence. Mm-hmm. Can you do it again? And so he says, you know what, let's. And so instead of a 6-month program, the second year became a 10-month program. And he taught, they learned, and they went up there and made history for the second year in a row. Okay, well, that worked out swell. How about we make it a year-round program? Okay, so year 3, he comes back home. We have a 12-month program. Students go back up to Harvard, make history for the 3rd year in a row. And finally, we have now where we've extended the program from just being a classroom program to being a service organization. So they've got year 1 commitment of classroom work, of learning the fundamentals of critical thinking, of rhetoric. We do surveys of philosophy, theology, psychology, anthropology, all of the ologies, right? All the humanities, right? And then we teach formal debate for 3 weeks. And then we take our students to Harvard. So we're hoping to make history again, because year 4 was another history making year. We had our first Black girl duo to win the overall competition. They went undefeated. So we're really proud of Jayla and Imani. And we just want to continue this legacy of excellence. You know, the win is great. We love the win. But the real win is in that first year of programming is classroom work, but the second year that our scholars are in, and so they offer mentorship to their peers who have come after them. They do peer-to-peer teaching in our community workshops for those students who don't make it into the program. We still offer critical thinking and debate skills training. And it's all peer-led. So these are students teaching students, right? So it's been really exciting. The ride has been amazing. And we just continue to add programming and services and resources for young people here in Atlanta. So it's been a great ride.
So some of my favorite stuff that I see on social media that, you know, over the course of the year is the announcements when the students find out that they've been selected for the program. Oh, because they're so exciting. So, you know, following Brandon on social and kind of seeing when he goes, and especially like during COVID, when you guys were actually making those personal drive ups and people are on their front porch and the kid, it shows how incredible of a program it is for kids to be that excited to find out that they've become a part of it. It's like Publishers Clearinghouse when the I mean, like it literally, if folks have not seen, you definitely need to follow on social and go look at some of these videos, because it's a testament to the power of the program to see how the kids and the parents too respond, finding out that their kids have become a part of the organization. So to that end, tell us a little bit about how can people connect with the organization? And then what is that, like, what's the process? When can they start? What age, what grade level? What is that part so that people can have that Publishers Clearinghouse experience on their doorstep?
So, you know, it's so interesting. We appreciate that you appreciate the video footage of this process, right? Because we spend a lot of time each year trying to figure out new and innovative ways to do surprise announcements. It gets harder and harder. You have to keep up in the ante of how we share, you know, their acceptance into the program. And so, no, we appreciate that you are consuming that content, because it is really important to us to create experiences for our students. And it's not just their acceptance, but in our classroom in general. And we'll talk about the pedagogy of the program and how we're revolutionizing education and our plans to make sure that we touch as many young people, not just here in Atlanta, but around the world. But as far as the process for becoming a member of the organization, one, to your point, Trinice, it is a life-changing opportunity, not just because of the way that we teach and what we're teaching and the exposure that students have to Ivy League level education, but because it is a whole family experience from the beginning of their program year to the end. We are really serving the whole student, right? The whole child. And so the application process begins with nomination. So it's interesting because we're approaching application season. So February 1, we open up nominations to educators, to community leaders, to business owners, anyone who has an interaction with young people, leading youth organizations, running after school programs, doing Sunday school, wherever you are and you are touching young people who are rising 8th to 11th graders, right? Rising. So we do not have seniors in high school in the programming, right? So it's 8th to 11th grade students. We want all of our leaders to be recognizing, identifying, and recommending students for this program. And so nominations are open the entire month of February. And then we have an event at the end of February. This year's event will be on the 27th of February. It's what we call the application rally. It's where the public is to come in and meet our scholars, alumni scholars, current year scholars, and parents. They'll hear from Brandon, they'll hear from myself, and it's really an opportunity for people to vet whether or not this opportunity is something that they really want, because a lot of the misconception around who we are is that we're a debate team, like we're going around the city and doing debates and winning them. But what we really are is a preparatory group who offers rigorous Ivy League level collegiate training in the humanities in an effort to prepare our students not only to finish their high school careers strong, but to be contenders in the college acceptance process so that our students get into Ivy League institutions around the country. And then from there, what we instill in our scholars along our pillars of scholarship, leadership, and culture is that privilege, the negative connotation of privilege, is only mitigated through service. And so we instill in our young people that whatever you are given, you are required to give, right? It follows along with Maya Angelou's when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. And it's fundamental in making sure that as young people are growing, expanding, learning, and building, that they understand that they have a responsibility to bring someone with them, right? And so this process, gets people acclimated with how we teach, our belief system, and that it doesn't have to be your typical or standard interview process. So, when you think about getting into organizations, you think about the resume, right? The brag sheet, and then being able to put on your suit, right? And have a conversation. Well, our environment is a little different. We want students to experience our classroom. We want them to experience the curriculum. We want them to experience our alumni. So we have admissions committees that consist of alumni scholars. And we've got, community leaders and then organizational leadership that sit on these committees. And our students go through a process that is atypical. So we start with the application, and I'll give a little hint. The most important part of that application is the video submission. So we've got your standard, application questions, but there's a video that gets submitted at the end. This is a cheat code right here. You've got to make sure that video really expresses who you are as a person, the impact that you'd like to have on the world, whether that's your local community or, global. We want students to think big, right? To think beyond. And so that video is critical. And so that would be considered round one. Admissions is the application itself. Once the application is submitted, we pare down the group. We get thousands of applications a year. And, unfortunately, our acceptance rate is about 1% because we keep our classroom size small. So the student to teacher ratio is what we're going for. And I know a lot of people have had some questions about how we, increase scale. And so we have an answer for that this year. We typically take 30 students. However, for the 2022-23 program year, we are accepting 50 students, and it's the first time ever. And it's because we need to experience more young people, and we need to make sure that we're able to offer this, curriculum to more deserving Atlanta youth. So this year's admissions process will be a little different because we're accepting more students. So once the application is vetted, right, we go into our interview process, which consists of a number of different types of interviews, whether mock classroom, whether family interviews, whether they are one-on-ones or small group. And we go through what we call a heuristic learning experience where, we do simulations. I won't tell you exactly what those simulations are. We'll save that for the young people who are bold enough, right, to submit that application. We want every one of them to feel empowered and emboldened to do so, because the work that we do in this classroom is just a setup for a future that, while it will be bright, irrespective as to whether students join us or not, we could definitely enhance their experience and make sure that they have connections both in our classroom with their cohort and within our network that will last them a lifetime.
Nice. Yeah. So, real quickly, Kellye, I want to ask you about the process of debate. So,
yes.
So say somebody is listening, or there's a young person listening, they're like, oh, that sounds great. I'd love to go to Harvard. I'd love to learn all of that. I don't want to debate though. What about debate makes this program magical? Like what is the secret sauce behind forming all of this and having it in the background of having that be sort of the crux of the competition?
Sure. No, that's a great question, Elaine. And it's a question we often get. One of the themes that we hold dear is debate is life, right? Debate is life. Because at the root of debate is logic. At the root of debate is listening. And not just listening to respond, but listening for understanding, for measurement, for critical thinking, and so because everything around us is debatable because we're human beings in a human experience, right? So what is concrete? There are natural facts that exist. The sun rises, the sun sets. These are things that are fact. But the way that you view, the perspective that you have on a sunrise can be completely different based on your lens, your experiences, your background, your foundation. And so what we utilize debate as an opportunity to show the multitude of sides and perspectives that human beings have. Mm-hmm. And so fundamentally, we're talking about reason, we're talking about active listening, and we're talking about the ability to engage, whether you agree with the position that another person has or not, utilizing empirics, right? Whether those empirics or that data is about lives, whether it's about health, whether it's about, there are any number of factors, right, to measure. But again, debate at the foundation of thought just allows us to acknowledge that there are differing opinions and that those differing opinions require, investigation. And so we believe that debate provides young people with an opportunity to explore, to expand, and then to be able to effectively communicate. Because here's the thing, human beings are only separated from the rest of the animal kingdom because of our ability to communicate, the ways that we communicate. So it's more than language. It's symbolism, it's body language, it's emphasis, it's how you use your voice and the words that you choose to use that determine the impact that you will have on other people. And so it becomes critical for young people to be able to articulate those things. And you imagine that in the age of information, where social media is the communication tool, that this will be easy, right? Well, what we found is that it is not a given that young people born into the information age will be able to process the amounts of information that they have access to and be able to pare it down into thoughts that are communicated clearly to another party for understanding. And so again, at the root of it all, is this language, how we communicate, what we are communicating, and how we support the communication that we are sharing, that becomes fundamental for success. Whether you choose to be an attorney, a journalist, a doctor, a teacher, any number of fields, at the root of them is communication. And that is what debate is at its core.
Yeah, it's sometimes I'm a little shocked when I see folks and I'm like, I think back to I'm going to only age myself and say, when I was growing up and you had like an encyclopedia to go get information, or you had to go get a book, and, information was so much more difficult to come by,
right,
to be able to communicate, things or whatever. And now we're in this age where everything you want to know about anything is at your fingertips, but there does seem to be this break down in critical thought and reasoning and comprehension, and
Yes.
then communicating topics and ideas and that kind of stuff. We look at, even within our political structure, there's the ongoing debates of why is it so difficult to communicate an idea, a thought? Why can't people understand why this is important versus that? And it does kind of come down to, kind of what you're saying, that people don't have the skills to distill something to the point where to make it relevant and understandable to audiences. So
Absolutely.
hopefully some of your youth will go into politics and we'll be able to fix
We
some
got a few.
stuff, fix some things in the near future. But it has been a pleasure, Kellye. We just love talking to you and finding out what's going on.
Thank you.
I think it's important. So those dates were important. So applications open on February 1st.
Nominations will open. Nominations will open. Yes. And
Okay.
so what we will have on our website, we have a tab on our website, www.harvarddcdp, that's David Charles, David Paul.org. There's a tab on our website that says apply. On February 1st, if you click that tab, there'll be another link right in there. You can complete the nomination form and you will submit to us the names of the students, right, that who are ages 13 to 17, rising 8th to 11th graders, who you deem as ambitious. They don't have to have debate experience. We prefer a 3.0 GPA, not necessary, okay? But they do need to be in Atlanta or greater Atlanta area. So we're talking Cobb County, we're talking Douglas County, we're talking Fulton, including South Fulton. We're talking APS, we're talking Gwinnett, we're talking DeKalb. Any students who are in and around the Atlanta area who are passionate about letting their voices be heard, who like to argue or debate, right? That's great. Who are interested in politics or the humanities at large to do this application. You nominate that student will receive a personal invitation that has a link to the application. Applications open on March the 1st and they close on March 31st. And then mid-April, they'll be notified if they've moved on to the next round, and thus begins the journey that you see documented in all of these videos of the application process. It is a lengthy process. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is not I wouldn't say it's hard. I would say that it is involved, right? Like it requires some effort, some thought. But again, remember, cheat code, that video in that application is critical. We want to see personality. We want to see who you are. And so you submit that and then we go from there. But I'll tell you this, every young person that has come through this program is doing something, right, with their lives after their initial program year is over. And a lot of the work that they're doing is in service. We've had young people who have worked to mobilize voters, right? Had a young lady who was working with some of the top national organizations under 18, right? Getting young people registered to vote. We've had young people who've created their own service organizations who write the curriculum that we utilize for our community workshops. We've had students come back and teach public forum debate during our intensives period at the end of our program year. We've got students who are helping young people to craft their college admissions, platforms, right? Like they're building websites. They're helping to advise on the pros and cons of writing certain types of essays. We've got young people on speakers bureaus. We've got writers. We've got podcast hosts. We've got influencers. So any number of opportunities are available to young people, but this particular program readies them in a way that we have seen nowhere else. Other than here at the Harvard Diversity Project. So we encourage all young people to come on out here, put your video together and join this organization because it's more than just debate, right? Debate is fundamental, but it's more than debate. And we want to make sure that Atlanta's youth have an opportunity to get out here in the world, put their best foot forward and have a network, a village and an experience unlike any other.
Kellye, wow. I mean, well, that's the argument. We could just close it up now. there's no rebuttal needed. Everyone, if you all have been listening and you know of a young person, you are a young person, you know somebody who needs this program, make sure you are looking on the website Go there now, go there early, prepare early. She's told you repeatedly about the video. Make sure you start on that now. Get your ideas together. But thank you so much, Kellye, to you and the team, and to Brandon, and congratulations on all the growth that you've had over the years. It's been great to have you back on the Good Work Show. Just appreciate your time. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you all. Atlanta, let's go.